Hi, I'm Katie from What Katie Did, and today I'm going to talk about neutral or nude seam stockings. And when I say neutral, I mean either nude skin tone colours or possibly black. And first of all, I've got this picture to show you, which we have on display in our office, and this shows you some of our neutral shade stockings. And I just love the way all the models look together and how all the nylons look together. And we've done the same for colourful seams as well, but it's just nice to see them, you know, clearly and presented in that way. And I love walking because they're on the stairs going up to the photo studio. I just love going up the stairs and seeing all the different stocking pictures. Today there really aren't any rules when it comes to what stockings you wear when. Traditionally, women in the 40s and 50s, which is the era What Katie Did focuses on the most, would have worn a nude natural tone during the day and possibly black, sheer black during the evening, and it would have been very rare to wear black during the day. And depending on how much money you had, you might have worn black in the evening for special occasions, or you might have just kept it with neutral seams. It all depends on your finances. But having said that, today really you can wear, there are no rules, and you can wear whatever you want. And even back in the day, there were some women who wore exactly what they wanted, and they didn't play by the rules at all. They just wore whatever nylons they wanted to wear. So basically what I'm saying is, if you want to play by the rules and stick to a nude skin tone stocking, that's fine. But if you want to be more adventurous, then that's fine as well. At What Katie Did, we make 3 neutral skin tones and 1 black. And back in the day, there would have been a lot more skin colours available made in stockings. And of course, everyone would have worn stockings back then, so more were being made, and it was easier for, you know, big companies especially to make a wider variety of colours, whereas little companies were constrained by the amount of customers they have. Just as we are with our colours, we can only make what really sells, and because you have to make stockings in high quantities, then it's not always possible to make everything we want to. And I've just found this, I've got this book on Dior, and it's got a Dior shade card from 1954. So you can see the colours they made in 1954, which range from very, very light all the way through to black. There has been a little bit of controversy with our contrast seam stockings, which are inspired by the 1940s and 50s. And I have a couple of quotes from costume designers here over the years. The first moment of controversy it normally comes from men who are on the stocking scene who say they know exactly what happened and are calling out costume designers for not wearing proper fully fashioned stockings as they would have back in the day. But of course there are only a couple fully fashioned stocking machines left in the world, and the top speed is 30 pairs an hour, and when you're making a film or a TV show, it's just not possible to obtain that many pairs of fully fashioned stockings. So the ones which cause the controversy in the film Allied are these here, which are a champagne with a contrasting black seam, and we also make these with a darker nutmeg with a black seam. And these were given a real close-up. It's an amazing shot of the legs walking away in the trailer for the movie Allied. And the so-called stocking experts picked up on this and said that, you know, they wouldn't have worn them back in the day. But I do have a quote from this costume designer for Agent Peggy Carter, Giovanna October Melton. And she also puts Agent Peggy Carter in these champagne with black seams. And she says about the character Agent Peggy Carter that her stylish black seam stockings, for example, were not readily available to the average woman in the marketplace, yet helped establish her fashion-forward look. You'll see the other female characters in the show donning the traditional nude seam stockings when they were available. So that's basically saying that, yes, the normal woman on the street would have worn the champagne stockings, champagne with latte and a neutral seam, whereas the more adventurous might go for a contrast seam like these here. And I've also got quotes from Lou Erich, who is a costume designer of Hollywood, which is on Netflix recently, and she also references our contrast seams as well. But one of the things people do ask quite a lot is whether these are period correct, because they're saying, well, women didn't actually wear these, contrast seams back in the day. And I've actually got the proof here. So I've got the natural seam stockings. These are vintage ones. So they've got the black foot here, black foot, seam, and heel here, just like our modern version. So yes, they were definitely made back in the day, and they were available. So for people to say they weren't around at all, then that's complete lies. That's just people making it up, thinking they know better than everyone else. When it comes to black stockings were generally kept for evening wear, and again, yes, they were mainly kept for evening wear. This could have been because black stockings are actually very easy to damage. If you're wearing a nude skin tone and you hitch them, the hitch doesn't show. But if you're wearing sheer black, then the hitch does show. So by wearing a more natural skin tone, then your stockings last longer and are more durable than black. So that could have been one of the reasons why women tended to stick for black. But there would have been some women who just liked wearing black and enjoyed wearing black stockings and would have worn them during the day as well. We supply lingerie and stockings for Peaky Blinders, and if you watch the TV show, you definitely would have noticed Aunt Polly, and Aunt Polly is like the strongest female character, and she basically rules all the male characters. She's on a standing head to head with Tommy, who kind of is supposed to rule the roost, but it's very much the two characters being the strongest characters in the storyline, and they decided to put Aunt Polly in sheer black nylons, and because she was such a strong figure. So yeah, if you were that strong and if you were that single-minded, then you would have worn what you wanted to, and you would have worn black seams during the day as well. And I've got a couple of my favourite pairs to show you. I love the welting print here, which is really bright, and these as well. Both of these are French pairs. And of course, if you didn't want to go for full-on black, grey was made as well. And we also do a grey seam stocking. So these are vintage grey by Gerbe. This is a more modern pair, so this is probably dating back to the 70s. So really, don't worry too much about what you should or shouldn't wear when it comes to stockings, because although the majority of women would have played by the so-called rules and kept it neutral or kept it black, in reality, women would have mixed and matched and changed it up and wore exactly what they wanted to, depending on A, whether they could get hold of them, and B, whether they could actually afford them. If you do have any questions about stockings or vintage lingerie, please get in touch. In the meantime, please take care, and I'll catch up with you soon.